business, and obviously there's a lot of like gurus and information and like stuff online to learn from and evolve. And I'm curious, like, is that just going to slow me down and just be prescription versus looking at the business myself through first principles? Is learning from like better founders who have solved all the problems I'm going through speed up the process for me? Or
I don't understand your question.
So I'm running a business. Obviously, I want to become a better entrepreneur, grow a better business, and improve. And he's learning from superior founders to me, listening to podcasts, reading their books, asking them for mentorship.
So I'm sure that you've already done those kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
And how has that been highly productive for you? Honest question.
In some areas, yes, but I feel like as I dive more deeper into the nuance and go further into it, a lot of the rules become almost like limitations and not as productive. So some cases, like a tip on hiring, for example, or running meetings with employees helps me, and I feel like it does get a good result. But I'm not like an A+, 10 out of 10 player.
Right.
And other times it's been bullshit.
The more superficial question that you ask, the more experts it will be to answer your question, and the more deeper and nuanced and specific and depth related your desire is, the more those will all fade away, and no one will be left. So
100%.
And so, given that that's been your experience, which is typical, you could, like, I'm going to say this, and you shouldn't listen. And the reason that you shouldn't listen is because I don't want to preempt the experience for you. So I'm going to say to you, you can listen to every podcast in the world. It's not going to do jack. Okay. I'm not going to say it won't help you on some, once again, I always come back to this underlying thread in my work, which is on a mechanical and technical level. There are things that you absolutely can gain from people, from experts, from books, from podcasts. Like you said, give me a tip on this or a tip on that, and it's relatively surface level. And so the more in the mechanical and technical realm it is, the more within the purview of experts it will be. The problem is that most problems and sufferings and most of the things that makes them world class are not on the mechanical and technical level. They're much deeper. As a result, from that standpoint, podcasts are a waste of time. Experts are a waste of time. Books are a waste of time. And the reason I say you shouldn't listen is examine for yourself. Maybe I'm full of it. Maybe you'll find that, no, I was wrong, that those were wonderful for you. That's why I began with asking your experience. So nobody should listen to me. They should do their own thing and then find their own conclusions. They might find that, no, this helped me wonderfully. Great. Then you'd be a fool to abandon what helped you. So, but I don't have any use for those things, because I find that all of those things are surface level. Because, once again, am I talking to a logical person? Am I talking to a reasonable person? If I am, he will acknowledge the fact, and he will agree that, what do podcasters want? They want audiences. Who are audiences composed of? The masses. They don't want one person in their audience. So the masses, do the masses become anything? No. The masses fail. Do the masses become great? No. Are the masses unusual? No. Are the masses unique? No. Are the masses anyone to be followed? No. Hell no. So if podcasters want and experts and those who want big audiences, which obviously people do, understandably so, then what other source do they have to gain those numbers than from the masses? There is no other source. As a result, if once they get X% of the masses, and they have their thousands of followers, whatever it is, in order to, first of all, entice them, and secondly, in order to keep them, they have to give them drivel. They have to give them things that are on the level of the masses. Otherwise, the masses will say, "What the hell is this crap?" and they'll leave. And they don't want them to leave, because how are they gonna make money? So it's all a shell game. It is the masses produce experts to teach the masses. The masses are in control of everything. As a result, everything it isn't. It shouldn't be any type of frustration that all of the information in the world is drivel. It has to be drivel, because if it wasn't drivel, there'd be no audiences. And if there's no audiences, then nobody could make a living on anything. The podcasters need to give junk, because junk is what their audience wants. If the podcasters said, I'm only going to speak the truth, first of all, they would have to have the DNA and the bandwidth in themselves to seek the truth, number one. Number two, they would only want to put out information that is the truth and risk not having anybody of an audience, but a very small number. And that's a deal breaker for most, which understandably, I mean, on a practical level, it isn't a reasonable business structure. So you can see how the entire game is rigged. It has to be that way. So that's why if you go into the world and you look in the podcast and the mastermind meetings and the X, Y's, and Z's and everything. There's no like good stuff and bad stuff. Yeah, there's better advice, that's technical advice, and there's worse technical advice, sure. Better mechanical advice and worse mechanical advice, sure. But anything beyond the mechanical and technical, like people send me emails and they say, I stopped listening to all podcasts, reading all books, because I see through it all now, right? I don't. That's not a good thing. I don't really care. I mean, I didn't try to convince them of that. They found that on their own. So, if you want truth, you don't really have a source out there, because there's no money in truth. There's no audience for truth. No one has the capacity for truth. No one wants the truth. Everyone is conditioned to seek nonsense. Everyone is conditioned to, tell a joke every 7.5 minutes and then make it entertaining for the audience. It's all drivel. The world is all, if you look outside your window, look on your balcony, and you look outside, it's all junk. There's nobody there. There's no audience. There's no real audience. There's no real people. There's no real podcaster. There's no real expert. They're all junk trash talkers. It's all they are. So it is all making a business upon trash. Do I blame them? No. What's wrong with making a business? You make a business on whatever you want. Like that's fine. No harm, no foul. But in all honesty, there isn't a market for truth. It isn't even wise. If you want to make a business, you don't make a business on truth. I mean, that's stupidity. It's not wise. So that's the reason why. It isn't because of some conspiracy. That's the reason why you shouldn't find any truth out there, because nobody wants to starve. So if you really want the truth, you have to understand where it isn't, because then you save years of your life. Does that make sense?